Okay, I was supposed to have a discussion. Well, I'm not supposed to, but I wanted to have a discussion with somebody. They called him a Christian slayer or something like that, and then there's another one, debunker. But they're they're too ashamed to show. I mean, too afraid to show up, or don't want to show up for one reason or another, whatever reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little study on the Jewish DNA. So let me do a screen share here before I forget about it. And let's go to the chart. Okay. If you will notice, we have here J1EP58, Middle Eastern Semitic. So this J1 and J2 throughout here, this area is largely or partially of Jewish descent. It's Abrahamic, as a matter of fact, which would include all the Arab tribes that are descended from Abraham, because there is Abraham had his son Isaac. He also had his son Ishmael and 6 other sons later on when he was older. So there is a large representation here of J, who are clearly, to me, without any doubt in my mind, the descendants of Abraham. But in the Jewish population, as we'll see, apparently there is more. See this G over here? I think there's a representation of G in the Jewish population for one reason or another. It's another Semitic tree. It's not the same Semitic tree, but there seems to be representatives of this G, Y chromosome in the Jewish population. And other than that, I think maybe I might be part of that. So we have I2 here. I don't know why they always have it backwards. But this I2 generated into this I1. So they did the same thing over here too with the A00 and the A0 and the A1 NB. They have it backwards because the original place of ancestry would be the Kushites, as far as the sub-Saharan Africans and the Andamanese and the Aborigines and all these Pacific Island dwellers with the CY chromosome are all descendants of Kushites. We know C is a descendant of Kush because it's Nimrod, who had a kingdom over here, and his descendants went this way and everywhere, all the way to the Americas. And we know Nimrod is the son of Cush in biblical history, in historical records that we have. Cush's brother Mitzrayim settled in Egypt with his mother, whose name is Egyptus. Their other brother, Put, settled in Libya, which is Phoenicia, and apparently they're called Berbers today. So we have these 3 sons of Ham here. Their descendants went this way. Their descendants went toward the east. And in Nimrod, they always went all the way to the Americas, over to all the way to the northern tip of South America. We have the C3 over here, which is not the C2 over here. So it went up this way. C3 went up over this way into the Americas. So, but I want to see if we can follow the Jewish line, which is a Semitic line, which is a Sumerian line, because Abraham was a Sumerian, from a Sumerian city. So whenever they say, oh, the Sumerians were before the Bible, no. Abraham was a Sumerian, from a Sumerian city. Sumerians are descendants of Noah. They're Semitic, they're Semites, descended from Shem, the son of Noah. Okay, so all Semitics are descended from the son of Noah, the paternal line. So that would be the F, G, H, I, and J. Those are all Semitic descendants of Shem, the son of Noah. So let's take a look over here at some of the descendants of the Jewish populations in Europe. This is not a Jewish population. Neither is this. Okay, here we go. Ashkenazi Jews, Y haplogroups. So we can see right away here, 48% is J, which is to be expected. Descendant of Abraham, direct male descendant of Abraham. We have this sliver over here, which is IJ, just before J is I, which is 1% of the Ashkenazi Jewish haplogroup population. Now, how this I got there is another question. Another question to be determined, because how can you get Vikings in the Jewish population? Good question. Okay, so as far as the rest of the Jewish population, G is interesting here. We have a 16% is G, which is a Semitic male descendant, which doesn't belong to this J Semitic family tree. It's another family tree. So in other words, we have F, G, then you have H, which is missing here, and you have I and J. Okay, but somehow the G is in the Jewish population for whatever reason it is, but it's not. The family tree goes all the way back to Noah and connects to the J family tree all the way back at Noah, as we have seen in other charts, genetic distance charts. But that's about it. So other than that, we have R, T, and Q. So it's K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. T. I guess we got a T there too. We got to find out what T is. It's a Y chromosome, T. I know there's an S. I don't know where the T is, but that's interesting. But that's not the Semitic line. That's a Japhethite line. Q is a Japhethite line. R is Japhethite. This is European. R is European, but it's Japhethite. G is Semitic. E is I don't want to say Ebonic. E is E1 is African. E1. Okay, that's interesting. It's not E3. It's E1. B12. Okay. But anyways, that could have, you know, that's neither here nor there. That could have become part of the percentage, throughout in just about any time in history. It could have They could have become part of the Ashkenazi Jewish population. So, and if I'm not mistaken, this would be more sub-Saharan African than anything else, because the Phoenicians and the Egyptians and the Cushites are E3Bs, and the E1B is sub-Saharan African. So that's interesting in itself. And so it's not exactly a Cushite. It's a later offshoot from the Cushites, I would say. Or if not, that could be offshoot of any one of the other sons of Ham, which would be Put, Mitzrayim, or Cush. And that's to be determined. But this I here, this is what I'm interested in, because that's me. I'm an I. And as far as I know, the Vikings didn't invade Palestine, Israel, or whatever. But anyway, now we got, this must be, well, I'm thinking this is the mtDNA, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is mtDNA, because see, the J is not the same percentage, and it's still Ashkenazi Jews. So we'll just say this is the mtDNA population. We have this HV. We got to keep this in mind, keep track of this HV, because in some populations it's a large percentage. The H is a large percentage. This H is me. I'm H3G. The K would be, let me see, LMN OP. Okay, I got to look at the chart. But the K, I'm not sure what that is. That might be Semitic. I just got to look at a decent chart. I can find one. There's not anywhere around here. Okay, try this one. So, L, of course, is the African tribes. H, as I was saying, would be right here. H, V, J, T, U. Okay. This is the Semitic line right here, as far as I can tell. So H, keep track of that. H would be Semitic. This would be Semitic. I and J are Semitic. K, where's the K? Take me a while to see it. Where's the K? This is R, P, B. I don't see any K. N, R, M. So it's L, M, N. Okay, where's the K? K, no K. It's M, Q. Anyway, I guess that would have to be. That's good. That's a good question. Where does the K fall under? I have to find out. Okay. Anyways, but that's a huge population, huge percentage. So I'm guessing it would be Semitic. The N is Semitic. Let me see the T. T is Semitic. U is Semitic. V Semitic. W Near Eastern. Asian. No, what's that supposed to mean? Anyways, the U is Semitic. How about the W? The W. Okay, W. Okay, I don't see the W. W is not here either. That could be anything, I suppose. Anyway, that's curious. All right, so it's largely Semitic, the population, the Ashkenazi maternal lineage. That's mtDNA, right there. Okay. Y chromosome haplogroup among Jews. This is just Jews, whatever that is, whatever that means. So 30% are J, 25% significant amount is Hamitic, which is EM35, EM34. I don't know, but this is Hamitic would be African, like African descent. 25% R, 15% is Japhethite. This R is Japhethite. There's G again. Here's a G again, which is another tree. It's not even on the same tree, but it is Semitic. That's 10%. That's a pretty large amount. We have the Q, which is also Japhethite. It'd be the same thing. Q and R are the same thing, basically. Q and R belong to the same family tree, basically. Then you have the T again. The T, Y chromosome, RST, 3%, which is a significant amount population. And we have, which is Japhethite. T is Japhethite. Now this E over here, trying to think if that's not Canaan. Because Canaan is kind of missing in action, but he's a descendant of Ham. So I'm wondering if this EM35 isn't Canaan. Because it's a significant amount here. And it doesn't seem to be in E1A or EB or E3 or E3 or E1, E2, E3. It's an EM35, EM34, so it could very well be Canaan, as far as I can tell. So, and then last but not least is my IY chromosome. See this IM253? That's exactly what I am right there. And again, I would like to know what kind of connection the Vikings have with the Jewish population. I don't remember the Vikings ever attacking the Jews or anything, but My suggestion is that the I is a Jewish population. So we got that there. Here is a map of different Portuguese Jewish populations. Okay, which is pretty interesting. We have this would be like the more populated areas here and the more, you know, commerce and everything. This would be up north, and these places would be more the interior, I'm presuming, but this would be the more the city. So we have large population here of this blue R. That's just European. This darker blue R is European. This gray and this black L and T, that's still the same. KLTR, that's still Japethite. This is all Japethite here. And this lighter color R is also Japethite. Over here, see FGHIJ, this is the Semitic line over here. So we have the F. I don't see a large representation of this light green F. But there is this lime green G again, which is a significant population. You got a significant lime green G here, and this lime green G there, and a lime green G. So that's pretty consistent there. Now the I would be the darker green, which would be this green. This could be. This is more of a possibility to be a Viking invader, because this is Portugal. Because they did invade Britain, and of course they could have migrated down here as well. It's not Celtic. This would be a Celtic region, but it's not. I is not Celtic, as far as I know. But it's a pretty significant population, so I'm thinking it's probably migration of Viking descendant or Anglo-Saxon descendants. Same thing with this here, and it's absent here. But these Belmonte Jews are interesting because of the percentage of this JY chromosome right here. It's just almost all direct descendants of Abraham, with the exception, of course, this 25% R right here. And this G, the G is the other mystery Semitic population. And if I'm not mistaken, H is gypsies, right? Yeah, H1 is gypsy. Okay. So it's not the gypsies. G is something else. This is S and W, whatever that is. The Semitic population, but it's a different family tree than the Abrahamic population. Okay, so we're back here, and we'll just look at these Bragança Jews. I don't even know what that is. I mean, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with any of these populations actually, but I mean, I do know there were Jews in Portugal, and they were most of them were kind of kicked out of Portugal and sent to Brazil, and it's just a part of history when they were, I forget what time it was. I don't know. There was a time in history when there was kind of like anti-Semitic movement, and they basically just kicked the majority of the Jewish population out of Portugal and sent them to Brazil. They went to Brazil. Bragança Jews is a large population of J, to be expected. Uh, population of IM 170, not too significant, I guess. The G's again, and the E's. This is interesting. The E's. Now why? Okay, here I got this. Okay, it's a E1B is what it is. So these M35s, M30, whatever they are, 96, all these they're the Hamitic population, Hamitic descendants, but they're the E1s. The E1s are not the E3s. So again, the Kushites, the Mitzrayim Egyptians, and the Put Phoenician descendants in Libya are all E3s. They're all E3. There are E3. What are the E3Bs and E3B2 and E3B1 and E3B1? Kushites, Egyptians, and Phoenicians, which are Berbers, I guess, today. So we have the E1A here, M132 here. So that's E1A. We have E2 over here, and then E3. E3 over here too. So they have the E1A, M132. So they get M1. Okay. Is there E1Bs? Anyway. Okay, so the E1Bs in the population. Which don't E1B, 1A. It's hard to tell because this is E1A. Where's the E1Bs? The data here is not exhaustive enough or extensive enough. Anyway, but they're Hamitic. And of course, in Portugal, they could be from Africa. So we got this here, T. This T. How can you have a TY chromosome? That's a large population of T right there. But that's Japhethite. KLMNOPQRST. Okay. And of course the others. All right. So we go to the Mediterranean. Basically the same thing. These R's and Q's are Japhethite, J1, J2, J1, J2, which is the green. That would be the Jewish population. So, are the Abrahamic descendants. The J1 is a light green, light green, light green. Lime green is G. There's the mystery G right there, the mystery Semitic population showing up again in large amounts. So that's the mystery Semitic population, the G, the lime green there. And then you have the sliver I, the darker light green right here, the sliver I. That is the Viking population, or either the Viking descendants or the Viking descended from the Jews. One of the three or whatever. Okay. We have this K color, KLT. That's pretty, but that's Japethite though. But it's pretty significant amount. Okay, this is the same map as before. Don't know what it's doing here. Same one as before. What is this, a different one? Oh, I think I know what it is. This is the mtDNA. Sorry about that. So yeah, the mtDNA is LMN. LMN. So the M is not too many. The N's, see the N's here? There's a Semitic. All of this N population here. See the N right here? All this here is Semitic. Because it's the L, the M, and the N. And all of this here is Semitic population. So we have the H here. This lime green. Is this a lime green? Yeah. This lime green here is H. That's what I am. And this lime green here is H, what I am. Now this darker green is probably the more authentic Jewish H, which would be HV4 or HV, whatever, but it's HV. It's probably the more authentic Jewish maternal line. Because these Belmonte Jews were pretty significantly exclusive as far as their genetic is concerned. It didn't have all this European mixture in here that this one has. So it's kind of strange. There is some L's in here. L1, 2, and 3. And M1, there's a little bit of M1 in there. And the rest of it is all Semitic line, Semitic maternal line. According to this here division of L, M, and the N. Semitic, not necessarily Jewish. But according to this, this population, maternal line is almost exclusively, wow, it's almost exclusively HV4 and possibly H. Is that H? Or is it another one? It's hard to say. It looks like H right here. Because this green looks like that green here. This green looks like this green here. To me. And these I guess would be the other greens. The V and H. Okay. Yeah, well this H would be my maternal line here, if that's the case. And this H would be which is basically the same line here. It's the same tree. Maternal family tree would be this H and the HV4. And there's a HV and then there's V. It's kind of mixed up. Labeling's kind of mixed up here. There's HVO over here and an HVOB over here. But anyways, and then there's a R over here. I don't know, I guess this labeling isn't, I'm going to have to ignore the labeling. Whether it's a V or an H, it's basically all the same tree here. R, whether it's R, V, H, it's all the same tree. Okay. Yeah, it's basically all the same. So basically all the greens are basically all the same family tree. All shades of green. This is significant, about half the population, of the entire population here of the Belmonte Jews. Okay, it is basically the same scale, I guess. No, not quite. This is the Y chromosome. Okay, Y chromosome. Have the dark green is J, the lighter green is J, and the next lighter green is I. But then there's a G. I think this light green here, I think this is the G. This is the mystery Semitic population, the G here. Here and here and here and here and here. The I think would be this sliver right here. And hardly anywhere else, just this sliver right there. So this area here doesn't have much. This could be migration, as far as I can tell, as far as I know. But of course these greens are be Semitic. All these greens are Semitic population. So let's see what else we got. We have, this is R, K, Q. Okay, there's lighter, there's blue here, there's blue, there's K, this is all Japhethite. Okay, the African lineage, the Hamitic population would be the Reds. So the Reds are the Hamitic populations. There. Okay, so this is a different scale here. We got Sephardic, Jewish, SJ, whatever that is. Okay, this would be the genetic makeup of the Sephardic Jews, and this is the genetic make of the general population. So you can see in here in these populations that there are Sephardic Jewish populations. I mean, in among these people here, these various populations, which is there's a long history of Israel and the Jews traveling this way. There's a real long history of it. They traveled all through here, through Europe, basically. Even Joseph of Arimathea had a tin trade from England all the way to England. He reportedly settled in England along with his daughter Anna of Arimathea, and they became part of the royal line that tied the kings of England to Solomon by way of Joseph of Arimathea's daughter, because they were descendants of Solomon, King David. So we have among the Sephardic Jews, we have J2, J1, which are these greens. We have K, belongs to the Japhethites. And the sliver here would be, where's I? I don't see I here. It's probably this sliver here is I. Again, we have the G population, and we have an F population. Now F is showing up. So F is here, or is that E? It's E or F. I think it's E. But anyways, the G is the mystery Semitic population is G here. It's a large population, large percentage. And it even shows up in these populations over here. Galicia, Portugal, Catalonia, Castilla-La Mancha, shows up all over here. Ibiza, Mallorca. Not Minorca. Minorca, Mallorca. Anyway, it's interesting. Morocco. You have some Jewish population in there. Quite a significant amount, actually. Significant amounts of Jewish population. Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. Of course, these are direct male descendants of Abraham would be, and they, of course, in Africa, it could be Arabic too, but they're descendants of Abraham. They'd be direct descendants of Abraham. But it's interesting. It's got basically the same thing here. It's see what we got. We got J, XJ2, J2. That's what these greens are. So whatever that is, that's what's here in these populations here. It's hard to say. Some of these colors are hard to tell what's what, but anyway, something like that. So yeah, there's the mtDNA. That's missing letters. It's missing the W. It's missing the other one, whatever it was. The V, what was it? The V. Got V. W, what was it? The X? Whatever it was. T. T is here. Anyway, hello, praise, Javier Ramos. Sorry to not pay attention here. 4 o'clock. I guess no one is here. So, that's interesting anyway. See what else we can find out. Anyway, this is basically it. So yeah, the migrations are pretty clear. The Bible says that the Japhethites went north, and the Japhethites are KLMNOPQRST. Those are the Japhethites. And we saw the Semitic populations have a T and a G. The G is here, or at least one of the G's is here. The T is a good question where that would be, but it's in some of the Jewish populations. But T would be Japhethite because it's actually after the S. S is right here. But it's interesting. The Bible said that Japheth moved north, and what's north? This is north, right? This is Israel. Where's north? North is here. What the Europeans consist of are R1, R2, R, and of course R goes all the way back here. And as a matter of fact, all of this, Q and R, belong to the same basic family of Japheth. That'd be all the rest of these things here. The N's, the Q's, not the I. But just basically everything else that's not a C, not an I, not an H, not a G, not a D. And everything else, O's and Q's and K's, are Japhethites. And of course, the Qs went all the way to the Americas. Amerindians. Those are the Qs. There you go. Look at this. Q3M3 here, Q3M3 here, all the way to South America, Q3M3. Same genetic populations, basically, or at least the paternal ancestry. Q3M3, QL54, Q3AM19, Central Amazonian Amerindians. Then you have the C, the YU, M217, and the C, M217 over here, the Kichwa Wairani. YU and Wairani. And then we have the Yanomamis, which I don't know what the Yanomamis are. So everything that's not a C or a D or a G or an H is Japhethite, which is basically everything in Europe and Asia is Japhethite, with the exception, of course, the C and Aborigines. Dravidians. Dravidians are H. Says here Dravidian is H. You have L. H. I. G. H. I. J. K. L. There's a T right there. Austroasiatic. Okay, maybe these are these T. Maybe it can't be the Chinese Jews. I mean, it could be, but it's. And there's T over here. What's T doing over here? We have T's in Kushite territory, and we have T's over here. This would be the area of the Chinese Jews, I think, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around here, between India and China. And the Bible says that the Jews will come as far away as China, Sinim. So the Jews will come from this area and return to Israel. See, Sino-Tibetan, Sinim. Okay. But it's interesting how the majority of the population is in this area of the cradle of civilization, which is really right here. And in Turkey has the Turkish were forced into this area here, but they actually came from this area here, Turkmenistan. We sent this area here. So it says the ark landed on the mountains of Ararat. Whether or not these are Mount Ararat it was talking about is another question. But the the major representation of the majority of people is in this area, the central area right here, which shows up here. Be the Uzbekistan and Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. Where is this? Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Right here, this area here. Notice how majority of the Y chromosomes are in this area here, represented here in this area, which is close here. The cradle of civilization is right here. So it's basically right here. But then, of course, the CY chromosome, which is this pink color here, or orange pink, whatever it is, that would be Nimrod right here in this area here. He had a kingdom right here. He had a kingdom right here, and he was the son of Cush, who was right here. It was a Cushite, the first, the direct son of Cush, and he was a king in the land of Shinar, and his descendants are this color here, 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 all the way in the Pacific, all the way into the Americas, or even over as far as here. That is the great king of Shinar and his descendants, who was the son of Cush, the Cushite. Another son of Cush is the father of the Andamanese, yeah, the D, Andamanese. He's the progenitor of the large population Tibet, Burma, Paleo-Siberian D2, Jomon, and the Japanese D2, both D2. They are descendants of Cush, Cushites, the D and the C. Because they both go back all the way back to the split where even this branch here split off from the Cushites. But it's all a Cushite family, this whole area here and here. The C and the D and the E and the A and the B are all of the same basic family. The only thing that's not included is the original E3Bs, because they number them backwards. E3Bs, E3B1, E3B2. Of course, this is V32, this is V12, and that's M81. Different populations, all brothers, descendants of Ham. And their mother's name is Egyptus. But anyways, it would be interesting if we could locate or identify any Canaanites in the Jewish population. But maybe we can't. But because the Jewish population does have Hamitic Y chromosome, but it's what is it? An E. Let me see what it is. It's an E1. E1B here. And I think that's E1B2. Here it is. E1B, 1B. E1B, 1A, E1B. E1B, 1B. Just not even on this map. And of course, this isn't even in the genetic distance map of a 1,000 genomes project. Anyway, information's coming out. We're getting more information. This G, this mystery G, is shows up in, it's a Semitic family tree, shows up in the Jewish population. It's not gypsies, and it's not a descendant of Abraham, probably. The I want to think it's a descendant of Abraham. The I and the J. See, the I and the J are closely associated, or closely identifiable. The I and the J. Want to think that's an Israelite, the lost tribes of Israel, that did go up into this area and had actual tribes and such in this area. And I'd like to think that I see they got it backwards again, maybe. I2A2 went up in this area here, I1, M253, and then the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons invaded Britain up here in northern Scotland, and that's where I can trace my ancestors to. Scotland. Not northern Scotland, but Scotland. And we have I2As here, and I2As here, and I2Bs. But I'm not an I2B. Actually, I2B, that looks like it's Anglo-Saxon. But what I am is a I1 M253. That's what I am. And we have the Gypsies. Turkmenistan. Yeah, the Turkish people actually came from this area here. And it's funny how this area here is where a lot of people are represented, both in this Y chromosome chart and the mtDNA chart. Shows large populations of, a large variety of population here in this area. And then everybody else spreading out from here, going different directions. As we can see there. And that's about it, I guess. For right now, it's good enough for right now. So, guess I overdid that or something. Or wore that subject out. Yeah, this is supposed to be a discussion with some skeptics, but they kind of didn't want to have a conversation with me. But it's the same old thing that scientists make me think I'm smart. Because here I am looking at a DNA chart and identifying the three sons of Ham here, descendants of Abraham here, the Japhethites all over Europe here, Nimrod here. All you have to do is look at the historical records. And if they had half a mind, or maybe it's wisdom they don't have, I don't know. Maybe their IQ is not that bad, just they don't have any wisdom or understanding. Understanding is to depart from the wrong idea, depart from evil, evil thoughts, evil ideas, beliefs. So maybe that's the problem. They don't have any wisdom or understanding. But, I kind of think that has something to do with IQ, but maybe not. But I guess it isn't to the strong or the race is not to the swift or the strong or the brave, but to the true and the faithful. So maybe that's what it is. But I do want to try to get their attention. You got to get their attention, call them out on the nonsense that they believe. Got R1A over here, and you got R1B over there. Look at that. That's Japhethite. R2A. R2A1. Oh, they got this all mixed up. Anyway, you know what they have to do? They have to revamp this whole thing. Start out with the sons of Ham and the sons of Shem and the sons of Ham and the sons of Japheth, for that matter. Maybe you can identify each one. I already identified three sons of Ham right here: Cush, Mitzrayim, and put Phoenicians. Wasn't that hard. And now we have to identify the difference between the Jewish Y chromosome and the 7 other sons of Abraham, which are JY chromosomes. So we have to look at that closely, look closely. We got J1, J1E, J2F, J1E, J2A, they got to organize this a little bit better. Neolithic. So this Semitic population became part of the Jewish population at one point or another. This other Semitic population, which is a G. But anyways, the difference between Europeans and Asians is not very much. The difference between Europeans and Asians is that the Europeans mixed with largely, I guess, Semitic populations, and the Asians on occasion mixed with the Hamitic population. So we have the Hamitic influence in the Aborigines, the Andamanese, which are very dark-skinned people, and of course up into Tibet, Burma, all the way to Japan, all the way in these areas here, the Austronesians, Micronesians, Melanesians, Polynesians. We have C2 in all of these, C2A, C2, C2 over here, C over here, C up here, C all the way up here, C3 up here, C1 over here, C3, C1. Okay, so it looks like actually some of the people came down this way. Anyways, that would be interesting to find out everything. But that would be a lot of some of these Asian populations mixed with the Hamitic, the Kushite population. I mean the Kushite ancestry. Of course, the Kushite is Nimrod, and this mystery Andamanese over here, this D separated way back in time, same as Nimrod, when Nimrod separated from the Kushites, which is right after the Tower of Babel, or right at the time of the Tower of Babel. The Andamanese looks like they separated too at that time, unless they come out with this evidence of these people here, the Kushites and Egyptians and Berbers or Phoenicians. Put them together and see if we can find out more about this. But C is definitely a son of Cush, because we know Nimrod, who was the king over here in Shinar, became great in the earth, and of course his descendants were even Mongolians. Over here, Mongolians, Tungusic, Kazakh, because you have Turkish coming through there, Turkic, a Q. Yeah, and the Q is Japheth. D2 is not, D2 is Hamitic. R1 is Japheth, went over this way. R1A, Indo-Iranian, R1A, that's Japheth. L is Japheth. There's G1. I have to find out what the G population is. But it is Semitic. Maybe they were Sumerians. I don't know. They were something anyway. And they remain to this day, or at least the descendants. The Y chromosome remains to this day. The Neanderthal Y chromosome is extinct. Looks like the Canaanite Y chromosome is extinct, perhaps. But never know. If they do some more testing, we might be able to find some people, some ancient peoples or descendants of ancient peoples. But it's all interesting to me because I like studying people groups, different nations. Notice how the Japhethites came down in here into Africa. The Chadic people have a European Y chromosome. So it'd be interesting to find out more about the Chadic people. Of course, I think there's a country of Chad in there, or there was. You got the The pygmies are, I guess they're B2s. They're not the A00, they're not the B1s, they're not the A1s, they're the B2s. But this arrow going this way, it's actually going this way, going the opposite way. Because these are descendants of Kushites. All the sub-Saharan Africans are basically all the same family tree. They're all descendants of Kush. Same as these people over here, they're dark-skinned people over here and over here, descendants of Kush. Direct descendants through the male Y chromosome. Now we have this over here in the Philippines that people call negrito, but they don't have, at least not according to this, they don't have a CY chromosome. But there is a CY chromosome in here somewhere. But it's the orange color here and up here. So wherever this is, I don't know. But possibly this K, C, and O are the negrito. So K is Japhethite, C is Hamite, O is Japhethite. And we have an O, two A's over here, M and S. They're saying that these populations are so close together, but they're genetically very different from each other. Which is, I don't know, I guess there's reasons for it, but South America, you have tribes that war each other, fight each other, and steal each other's women, and such like that. So you would expect some mixing, but over here you don't seem to have mixing. I guess there's physical boundaries between them or something. Could be. Oh, three. Well, I guess that's it. Good enough for now. So, it says, all nations will serve the Son of Man. Son of Man was presented before the Ancients of Days, and all nations were given to the Son of Man to serve him. He'll reign over all the earth. That all nations will serve him.